Here's the grand finale from Gates & Company as they roll out even more games for their Xbox 360.
Now, at its core, Xbox 360 is a great game console. And Itagaki-san and Tecmo have always been at the forefront of delivering what a platform can deliver and what great games can achieve. Ladies and gentlemen, Dead or Alive 4, exclusively on Xbox 360.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. This next title from Rare represents an important leap forward in game development and really, really, really fun gameplay.
Cameo is back again, Tao. What the hell?
What, you know, third system's the charm, I guess. Finally, it's going to
I don't
come
know
out.
if it's the charm, actually.
Fourth system's
My
the charm.
question about that game is like,
reverse.
well, but my question is like, what is new about the game that you couldn't do on Xbox? And what Microsoft tells me is that one sequence where you have all those enemies on screen.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah,
you can never put, and that's a new lens flare for this year. Is like how many enemies, how many ducks can you put on screen?
HDR is the new lens flare for this year.
High dynamic range.
I didn't see any reason in there for me to go and spend another $300 or $400 to go buy myself a new Xbox. Like I feel like I got an Xbox. It can do that. I'm cool.
I feel like it's going to be good hardware. I thought what we saw with DOA 4, it's not that big of a leap over DOA 3. But I don't know if it's just a case, again, like I said before, of Microsoft being more realistic than Sony is. Is Sony kind of blowing it up?
Also, they just made some horrible strategic mistakes in that press conference. They put Dead or Alive pretty front and center, and that was the least impressive in terms of advancement over all the other games.
Where was Gears of War? Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Gears of War should have been front and center. The only one which I found just outrageous was Project Gotham Racing 2. This one has been talked up so much. Oh, excuse me, 3. This one has been so talked up by them, and we all believe it to be one of the most
it's a launch
titles.
Yep.
And I do not believe for a second that was gameplay that I was looking at. That was, I mean, it's now becoming conspicuous by its absence, as with Perfect Dark Zero.
The big issue that Microsoft will not, tell everyone, they'll probably finally admit, is that, a lot of these games are running on alpha kits, which is, stuff that is not necessarily representative of the final hardware. So they're here at E3 trying to show games. That's why, some of these games are running at low frame rates.
And to be fair, that's what all of the companies do.
Absolutely.
That's what you have to do when you're developing these
but
games.
Now, if we take a step back, and Tal, I'm going to pose this to you, I'm curious. Because if we take a step back and look at Microsoft's overall vision of what they want to do with bridging not just the hardcore, but, the softcore gamer and the moms with the video chat and the Xbox arcade, are you buying their vision of the future?
Well, to be honest, I'm not a person who's really into one of those all-encompassing machines. I think if I want to buy a gaming machine, I want to buy a gaming machine. I want something that's dedicated to that task. I don't want a toaster. I don't want something that can make pasta as well as play my video game on.
How are you going to have Cafe Press online if you don't have an Xbox 360?
I want your store to open more. Make some
Yeah,
shirts.
I'm gonna make some T-shirts and skate parks in my spare time.
But that is a big deal. People with like The Sims and other games. If you look at Second Life, people are all into making their own content. Maybe that will be a large draw. It won't either of us could care less, but maybe that will be a huge draw.
But you've got to get the hardcore first, and that's the most important.
Well, again, also they've got to clarify their message. Their message seems to be all over the place, and no one knows if they're supposed to be talking to them or not.
It's like wearing a sweat hoodie
really
and
a
sport coat.
And a sport coat at the same time.
It's a little confused.
I'm not so negative on the marketplace stuff because I think it really does put tools in the user's hands to be able to do stuff that maybe like you have on the PC with the mod communities to really have some cool content. Right now, we're just kind of thinking like, oh, here's going to be stripes on your shoes. Here's going to be a new T-shirt.
Look at The Sims on the PC. I mean, girls certainly love to make things for The Sims on the PC. So will
Why are
that
you
transfer?
looking at me when you're saying that? I don't play The Sims.
But they didn't pay $300+ to play Sims on the PC. That's the problem. It's that there's first is that threshold of how much the console costs.
Well, they're hoping to get it in there when like someone's going to pay $300 to play Halo 5, and then they're going to get their girlfriend hooked. It's going to be great.
I think the big point here, too, though, as Jeff pointed out, is we're going to be able to play Xbox 360 at this show. We're not going to be able to play PS3, or at least in a very limited if we are.
And one thing that no one's really mentioned, which it's a big deal to me, Jeff Minter doing the visuals.
Right.
Come on now. Love the
one game that's missing, though, last night was Perfect Dark Zero.
Joanna.
It's supposed to be a launch title. We didn't see it last night. Apparently, maybe in a back room here. It
I wasn't missing it.
This is the Achilles heel of Microsoft right now.
So
that game
I
was
think
supposed to be the big one.
But no, and what about Halo 2.5? Lots of buzz about what that was going to be. We didn't hear any Halo news last night.
I think
no
that
Halo
was
3
hoping.
news.
I don't know if it was necessarily rumor, but we were hoping.
Big Billy G said they're going to release, Halo 3 up against the launch of the PS3. But that might be too little, too late, unfortunately. And it hurts. It pains me to say that against Halo. I mean, I love my Halo.
And I think it's also worth saying that none of us here actually wanted Microsoft to stagger as it seems to be doing right now. That I had great hopes for the 360. And I left the press conference almost a little sad. I wanted to see them make a great case for it, and I left confused.
Right.
And I was a little embarrassed.
I still play my Xbox, every single day. I still think it's one of the favorite, my favorite console. It's definitely got. If I'm doing a comparison between the three consoles, I'm going to play a game that's on the Xbox.
All right, well, we'll see if you're actually going to end up playing a 360 or not in the future.
True.